This is Chris Johnson. A lot of people don't like me. And at 36 years old, I'm pretty used to it by now. One thing, though, that I don't think I'm ever going to get used to is people not liking me because they think I'm fucking their wives. This has happened to me 2 fucking times in the last 4 years. Twice. About 4 years back, when I was going through my divorce, one of my friends was going through a divorce as well. And because she's a fucking moron, she was telling her psychotic husband with fucking neck tattoos that she was hanging out with me. And we weren't doing a goddamn thing. I was just fucking being a weepy bitch about my fucking failed marriage. But apparently she gave him the impression that we were fucking, and he went fucking apeshit. I remember saying to her afterwards, I was like, why the fuck is he like getting so pissed about it? Just tell him that I'm married. She's like, well, he knows that you're not. I was like, how the fuck does he know that I'm not? She's like, well, I told him. Why the fuck did you tell him? What do you want, out of your fucking mind? You want to get me killed, you stupid asshole? So, I don't talk to that person anymore. However, somebody has stepped up and filled the void. Now, this friend of mine isn't necessarily going through a fucking divorce, but she was arguing with her husband about some shit, and he fucking left. Like she told me, she's like, this has been going on, and, I do what I fucking can. I've been through some shitty marital strife, so people think they can talk to me about it, even though I'm not sure I'm quite qualified to handle those situations. But I knew the dude left, and that he was potentially moving out, and she's talking to me about it. Conversation probably ends around like 10:30 at night. Around 2 in the morning, I started getting a series of phone calls. I got phone calls from her, which makes no fucking sense because she has 2 kids who are toddlers that drag her fucking ass up at 6 in the morning. So why the fuck are you calling me when you never call me ever? A series of phone calls from a strange number. A series of messages from her and from some guy I've never met who turns out to be like her husband. I've never talked to her husband ever. I don't know the guy. I don't give a fuck about him. I just know who he is. And I'm gonna fucking say right here, I think he sucks. I think the guy fucking sucks. Fuck him. I've heard enough stories. Fuck that guy. He's a piece of shit. And I fucking said as much in the fucking messages to her. I don't like to push people into making decisions one way or another about any type of relationship they're in. But when I hear complaints for about 4 years about, hey, he's a pushy asshole and he did this and he said this and he doesn't help with the kids, eventually Chris Johnson's just going to say, you know what, fuck that guy. He's a piece of garbage. He's a fucker. Fuck him. So that's what I fucking did. I've watched a lot of Dateline in my day. You ever watch those shows, Dateline? Whole bunch of shit on investigation, discovery. I've watched a lot of stuff about fucking murderers and psychotics. And people just fucking go apeshit and slaughter their fucking family. This had that fucking MO. All of a sudden, I'm getting phone calls from my friend, allegedly. At the same time, I'm getting phone calls from a strange number. The phone message was from the guy. He's sending me messages at 2 in the morning. And it was the creepiest fucking thing in the world. And it's like, hey, Chris Johnson. Hey, it's your friend's husband. What's going on? Why don't you give me a call? Why don't you give me a call when you get a second? I want to talk to you real quick. All right. See you later, bud. What the fuck was that? And then I started getting like instant panic attack. I'm like, motherfucker, you've watched those shows. This is what happens before a fucking murder. You're gonna call the cops. You're gonna call 911. And I started like going fucking bananas and pacing around my fucking apartment. I had a fucking full-blown panic attack. I'm like, wait a second. Do I have to call the cops? What if I don't call the cops? If I don't call the cops and she's fucking dead and a fucking bunch of toddlers and dogs get fucking murdered, that shit's gonna be on my fucking head. Then like Keith Morrison's gonna be in my fucking living room and he's gonna say shit like, now you got the messages from her husband and they were kind of threatening and you did nothing? Why? And then I'm gonna have to fucking explain myself on national television saying like, yeah, I don't know, I had to put up a podcast and go shopping, so I didn't call the police. Sorry. Let me tell you something too. Calling the fucking cops at fucking 2 in the morning and trying to explain what the fuck is going on when you're involving like social media messages and random phone calls and random phone messages, add in my severe fucking anxiety at the time. I discovered when I made that 911 call, I'd be fucking useless in an emergency. I was a fucking mess. I didn't know what to fucking do. I wasn't calm. I'm like, hey, listen, I think there's a fucking problem here. This is Chris Johnson. This is 911. This is fucking Chris Johnson. There's something going on here. They're like, okay, settle down. Settle the fuck down, you idiot. What the fuck is happening? Are you afraid for your life, sir? Like, are you afraid? Look, I'm not afraid for me, goddammit. Would you fucking get over there? Where do they live? I don't know. And they're like, are you fucking her? I'm not fucking her. What are you talking about? Even the cops think I'm fucking her. We just go make sure somebody's alive so I'm not responsible for fucking death, for fuck's sake. Then the cops call me, right? The cops get over to the house in the middle of the night. And they're like, hey man, we're at the house. I don't think anybody's here. It's fucking quiet. Do they have dogs? I was like, yeah, they have 3 dogs. They're like, no dogs are barking. We think the TV's on there, but nobody's fucking moving. I'm like, son of a bitch. The whole fucking family's dead. God damn it, Chris Johnson. Why did you fucking run around in a panic for 10 minutes before you called the fucking cops? That's what I'm thinking. That's what's going through my fucking head. I'm responsible for a death. I went fucking crazy. Maybe about like a half hour after that, I got like a text message. I was like, yeah, cops just woke me up. Apparently, my husband got drunk and, read all the messages that I sent to you about it and started calling you under my social media account and started calling you under his phone. I thought, how the fuck did he get my number? I don't know how I got the number. Jesus Christ. Then I started feeling like stupid. I described the scenario to like some people I knew, not giving any fucking names, of course. I don't want to blow anybody in. I'm like, hey man, you watch a lot of Dateline. What do you think about this situation? They're like, no, you did the right thing. Did I do the right thing? Did I? Because I kind of feel like I didn't do the right thing because nothing fucking happened. I don't know how to feel about the whole fucking situation. But apparently he's sorry. He's sorry. And he told her he apologized to me, but he didn't. I got a text message. Hey, did he apologize to you? And I was like, you know what? No, he didn't. And I don't give a fuck. I don't need your husband to apologize to me. He can go fuck himself. Yeah, how about that? So that's how I've been spending my time. And look, if I get murdered, you're going to know where to fucking look. You'll know who the fucking suspects are. Just retrace my steps. I'll be back Sundays and Wednesdays. Maybe alive, maybe dead. I don't know. Maybe I'll do this from beyond the grave, whatever the fuck. That's when you get your new podcast episodes. I'm on Podbean, the host of the cast, website or the app for that. On Spotify, too. On Google Play. Apple Podcasts is where I'm going to be. You can catch me on Twitter at Johnson Hates You. Instagram at maybe 5 minutes. And I'm going to keep pumping the podcast out in my timeline and Facebook as well. So you can catch me there.